So we started with it as a data structure, right? Okay, let his join. Let him join. Let him join. But so we are done with the iterable collections and the list, array list, linked list, and the stack. So then after that, we have started with the queue as a data structure. Apart from this, we have seen the queue, and now there are two things. There is a DQ as well as array queue. And later on the priority queue also we are going to see. But initially, the thing we are seeing going to see the concept of array DQ, or you can say that a DQ. So how the structure difference between the queue and the DQ, that we're going to understood today, and we also do the programs. The program is easy, but the background structure must be clear, like how exactly it works. So if you talk about a queue as a data structure, Q U E Q U E U V Q, right? And now the DQ, Q U E Q U E U E DQ. So if you see the queue as a structure, you can know we know the structure of queue. Like there is a queue. Consider this. How queue is working? Whichever thing is come first, which will go first, right? If you remember, you will come to know that how the queue is working. So basically, queue has a fixed structure. If you want to remove the data, it remove from the front. Okay. And if you want to add something data, so data will be added at the end, right? This is structure of queue because the queue stand for a single queue, no? Like this single queue. And the queue is always like a structure is this one way direction. Okay. So just because of this internal structure, the queue is working in this one directions. But the DQ stand for double EQ. So in queue, the problem is that we can't add data in between, right? It is not possible in queue because the queue structure says you can add data at the end or remove data from the first. You can't add data in between. So that's why the double EQ comes into the picture. So how double EQ works? It will work in the both the ways, right? Either you can add data from this and this also, right? So you can travel at the both the ends. So you have all the choice where you want to add a data and where you want to remove the data. Got it? The difference between the queue and the array DQ, it's a simple structure. So that the DQ provides some added functions like we can add data at any particular positions, or even I can remove the data from last as well, but which is not possible in a queue. You can only the remove data from the first positions, or you can add data from last positions. Internally structure it like this. But now we are going to see the DQ structure as well. Program is simple, not that much difficult. So with the help of ArrayDeque, we can achieve that function. If you remember the queue as a structure, so you'll come to know how the queue is working. We already implemented that queue. Let's go for the queue demo. So this is a queue demo. Using a linked list, we have implemented the queue. We have added a data. We have removed the data. But while removing, we are not passing anything, right? We just removed. Then by default, data is removed from the first. But here, if you see that there is no option from that, there is only option of remove something, but we can't remove the data from the last. Okay. But in DQ, you will find the one more option, extra option, that we can also remove the data from last as well. This is one of the difference. And the second one, while adding data, we can add data at only last position. If you use simply add method, so by default data will be added at last. But there is no method is available so that you can add data at first, right? So these are two extra functions will be available in case of DQ, ArrayDeque. Okay, so let's implement the DQ first. DQ. So DQ is an interface, but for implementing a DQ, we need to take a help of ArrayDeque. Okay, you can do the separate operation for ArrayDeque also, and the same thing you can apply with the DQ as well. Right? But first of all, we are going to see the concept of ArrayDeque, and then we are going with the DQ. So let's create an example of ArrayDeque. So take a main class as usual, ArrayDeque. We just need to observe the difference uh, while comparing within queue. The queue has a only option we can remove data from the first and add data from the last. But with the help of ArrayDeque, array ArrayDeque, it pass the structure as integer. A is equal to new ArrayDeque, right? So spelling, is there any mistake with the spelling? ArrayDeque, is that okay? Or D is a capital, sir? D is a class, right? The camel case. Okay, this is ArrayDeque. ArrayDeque. Perfect. Now, if you consider just a normal queue, the queue is provide a method as an adder. So where the data is default get added. Suppose I'm taking one a dot add a dot add sorry add a dot add a method. Suppose 5 semicolon a dot add. Suppose that 4 and again a dot add. So for example 2. If you print this queue, the queue will be like how it get printed. How will be the row works here? Normal queue like structure. Like how what will be the series for this? If I print this output, which thing will print first and which thing will last? No, queue na. Whichever the come first will go first. 1, 5, 4, and 2. This is a concept of queue na. General queue I'm talking about. See how the structure is stored. Whichever the come first will which will be the go first. But in the DQ, ArrayDeque, there is a functions, right? With the help of that functions, we can able to add data at first position also as well as in the last position also. Okay. Though the by default data is adding at the last only, but if you want to add data, so you can see the method a dot add first is also there. So let me add a 9 as a first. Okay, it is not possible in case of general queue because queue has a structure. By default, all the data should be added at last position only. You can't add data at very first. Even though in general, just imagine we are standing in the queue from last and 1 hours, and someone is come directly and he said like, let me stand in the rank one. So that is not get allowed. No? We will shout him like, I'm waiting for your long hour for the first positions. And you directly come, you're asking for the first position. But there is some special need, always there is an exception. So in that cases, we need to use ArrayDeque. See, now we have, okay, let me add a new line here. So it's right? So now at very first position, we have a 9. Okay. And there is also the position like a dot add last is also there. Based on need, we can add the data. So let me add a 0 at the last position. Okay. So these are the two extra position for adding it provide the structure like this. Okay. Even though if I use just a method as a remove, so which data should be get removed? Can you tell me the output now? Final output. Huh? I'm just using a remove method. So which data should be get removed? No, no, no. Against your making list. Remove. 9 will be the remove. Na? Whichever the first comes, which will be the go first one go only. Right? The 9 will be get removed now. If I use one more remove, then 1 will be. After 9, which one is there? 1. Okay. What is an error? Is it okay? We are not save this program. Let me save and the run one again. 1 will be removed. Right? See, the special methods in ArrayDeque are only the two things. While adding, we have an extra function we can add first as well as add last. And if you use a simple add method, it is same like a queue. We use simple like a remove method, it's same like a queue. But this have some special method also. If I want to remove the 0, in case of queue, it is not possible until and unless we can remove all the data. But in case of ArrayDeque, we have a special method. We can remove the data from last position also. Remove last. It is possible in case of ArrayDeque. Got it? See, now if you print this final outputs, so that will be like it remove data from last position also. See, this is output where the 0 is get removed. Or no, something is mistake, right? We are not printed anything. No? Just print the A. See, 0 is not there. Right? In a similar manner, you can remove the data from first position also. Right. Got it? Now, if you remove the first, then what will be, which value get removed? 5. So then we'll have only 4 and 2 adjectives. Perfect. By default, it is added last. Okay. If you see now, what will your final data? 4 and 2 only. So in general, just imagine now if you want to add some data. So what do we use? A dot add. Suppose I'm adding 99. So 99 will be added at the last. Okay, but we have to print that also. Let's me print that. A sorry. A only. So it is adding after 2, 4, 2 and 99. 4, 2 and 99. Okay. But we have a special position also. We can even add a data at first also. Okay, let's me add like 100. So 100 will be added before 4th. Okay. But if you in general observe, the queue is add data at last only. And the DQ only provide some special functions, even though we can add data at the first or the last. For the removing also, we can remove from the first as well as remove from the last. It is not possible in a queue. The queue has a two end. One end you can only just removing the things, and one end you're just adding the things. And DQ will allow in both the way operation possible. Okay, so this is a array queue. Okay, same functionality you can implement in the DQ as well. As usual, for implementing a DQ, we need to take a help of what? ArrayDeque. As simple as. Why we need to take a help of ArrayDeque here? Because DQ is a not a class. DQ is what? Interface. Like implementing a list, we are taking a help of array list or linked list. In the similar manner, if you want to implement DQ and DEGER, D is equal to new DQ. Oh, so you can see that we can't use the interface because it will by default override all the methods. That will use ArrayDeques. And all the method of ArrayDeque will be as it is. Like this. This will be as it is, will be appear in that position. Okay, make an object as a, not a problems. See, because we are implementing a DQ with the help of ArrayDeque. If you remember only the ArrayDeque example also, that will be the similar as a DQ operation. Right? Understood? The queue structure. This understanding is important. You see that the queue and all that structure of this. Okay. Now the questions comes. Okay, the queue is working properly, not a problems. Even though if you check an array DQ, that also we understood. And apart from this, there is a priority queue is there. So now for seeing this priority queue, what's the questions come into your mind? Like how how it going to work? Not exactly. Is there anything? No. See it. The name suggests the priority. Okay. So you can take any real-time example where we know we have some priorities. Like suppose is there any party will be there. So what will be your priority? So the old ages person will be get first treated, or the small child will be get first treated, and then the like younger people will be get treated, right? So we'll giving some priority. So in a similar manner, if you want to give the priority for your life, so the first priority will be your family, then your friends, and then relatives, and then all that things. So that is same thing they are using while standing in a queue. Okay, so you can consider the same example. If you are standing in a queue, suppose for example, or any persons, like there is a one, there is a two, or there is something eight, and there is something some in the queue. There may be a, some person who is very important, VIP kind of things. So at that times they will give some priority so that the maybe he is in between, but he will be get removed first. Okay, getting the point. Name suggests the priority queue. Priority queue means based on the priority, it will give remove the data and add the data. Up to now, we have done the two kind of things. First one is a queue. The queue as a fixed structure, remove data from the first, add data from the last. That's all. DQ allows us, you can add the data from the first also, and the last also. Even though you can remove data from first also, the last also. Okay. But still, there is not an option where we can, based on priority, you can't doing anything still. No? So there is only option is happening from the first and last end only. In DQ also you're adding data from first, remove data from first. Add first, remove first. But the priority queue will be work like it is based on priority. The queue is get implemented. Means that is same example like in queue only. But while adding data is provide some priority. And the based on priority, it will what print the data. For example, if I want to print this queue, just imagine now, let's take an example of this. Suppose I have a four here. Okay, just assume now it is your priority queue. So the system automatically allow add some priority for the priority queue, and it will the priority means it will give the priority to the number. So output will be in general 12874 if you use a simple queue. But if you use the priority queue, you'll get the output as 1, 2, then you'll get the 4, then you'll get the 7, then you'll get the 8. Got it? So this is giving some priority. And based on that priority, it is get printed. Okay. So let's take this example on this so that the queue topic will be done. Then on Monday we'll do the set works. So I'll make it as a PQ here. QUEUE main class. So as the name suggests, priority queue PRI priority here. What is spelling? Check it. PRIOR priority queue. You can take the integer integer integer. P is equal to new priority queue. TEN integer INTEGER integers. Then so now the priority queue, just there is a method called add p dot add. So let me give some number based things. So let me add here 8 p dot add. Suppose there is 5. One more thing, p dot add. Suppose there is 2. The p dot add. Suppose there is 3, and the p dot add there is 9. Got it? So now I want to print all the value from the priority queue. So for that, we'll use some, first of all, print the simple list as a see. Right click. If you run the programs, how the data is converted, but how we added the data. Okay, just for a checking, let's me keep this same data, and I will, instead of P, I will just make it as a Q. Okay. If I made it as a Q, how are you gonna work? Q. What is the error here? queue. Okay, you can then make it the queue equal to. Okay, for implementing queue, we need to take a something help of something. We have used linked list now for implementing queue because queue is what interface. And for implementing interface, we have to take a help of something. If I run this now, output will be what the whichever they come first, which will be go first, right? But prior to giving some priority to the number, and based on that number of priority, it will printing priority. Okay, so that's okay. Automatically it gets short. Even though the based on type of data, it will be get printed. Got it? So this is about a queue as a data structures. Okay. Up to now, whatever we have seen, all are the ordered one, right? And it allow duplicate data also. But as you go further for the set, there are two kind of feature we can find. Some of the collections which are not allowed duplicate data. Some of also which are not allowed duplicate data as well as they are sorted manner by default sorted. The name itself suggests sorted set. The data is automatically get sorted. Okay, so that we'll see on Monday. So today we have done the queue topics. So got it.